Hi guys, Finch here down the Quest Golf Academy, and today we are going to be doing the last in our 3 video series on grip and wrist angles and how that affects ball flight. And now we're going to be moving on to the short game and some specialised shots that you can hit by altering how you grip the club and how you change wrist angles. Now I've got a 56-degree wedge here, and I've also got myself set up to a 50-yard hole just to show you some of the differences that can take place even over such a short distance. Now for a normal 50-yard pitch, I will be gripping the club pretty neutral, so how I grip most of my full shots as well. Putting the ball position just slightly further back in my stance than normal, just back of centre. I don't lean the shaft too far forward, I keep it pretty straight, and I just try and get the club underneath and use the bounce. So it's only 50 yards, just try and get it skipping up to the hole. Oh, I struck it pretty well, almost too well possibly. Yeah, just slightly past, but not a bad shot, so 51 yards in total distance. And I'd be happy playing that shot under most circumstances. But how can I change my grip and how can I change my wrist angles to actually alter the type of shot that I'm about to hit? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drastically weaken my grip. Now, from the videos that we've already seen so far, hopefully you've seen so far, you will know that if I weaken my grip, the club face is more likely to start to open as I hit the shot. Not only open, but also add loft. So when I weaken my grip, I know that I can generally get more height and I can get the ball to stop quicker as long as I manage to get a decent strike. Still manage to keep my angle of attack slightly down through the ball. So what I'm going to do here is use exactly the same setup. The only thing I'm going to do is weaken my grip considerably, so I only really want to be seeing, well, I hardly even want to be seeing the one knuckle on my left hand here. I'm going to push my right hand all the way on top of the club. I'm going to open up my stance very slightly because I know the club face is going to come a little bit more open into impact. And then I'm going to use a similar swing, just a little bit more speed, and I should be able to get a little bit more height and then also a little bit more spin once it lands. So you can see there, just by altering my grip, I was able to change how I hit that shot, and the difference that it gave me when it landed and the way that it flew through the air was quite noticeable. Now let's switch that around, and what I'm going to do is really strengthen my grip. So I'm going to get a good 4 knuckles showing on my left hand, and I'm also going to get my right hand a little bit more underneath the club like this. Now as I come through the point of impact, I know that my club face will close here, so to get a decent shot, also what I need to do is push my hands a long way ahead to square up the club face. Now because of that, I know that when I hit this shot, it's going to be coming off very, very low. So the differences I need to make to my stance and to my aim here, I'm going to aim my body slightly further off to the right than normal. I'm going to take my grip, and then I'm going to push my hands a long way ahead, and I'm just going to try and keep that face square as I come through the point of impact. Now this is going to produce a very low ball flight that should skip a little bit more once it lands. Oh, drilled that one. Sit down a bit. I was hoping for a little bit more backspin than that one. Absolutely ripped that. Note of warning. Once you strengthen your grip, you'll have a little bit less loft. It's going to fly a little bit quicker. I'll just have that one more, just trying to get it landing a little bit shorter than that. So that super strong grip, that stance position, try to drive it forwards. That's much better. But you see the difference there when it landed, rather than checking and stopping, it really ran through quite a lot. That's because I effectively took off the loft, introduced a very low amount of dynamic loft, and therefore the amount of spin produced wasn't able to stop the ball as quickly as the other shots I've just hit. So that's how I can change my grip to alter ball flight. But what about now when I start to change my wrist angles? So we've already seen in the first video about bowing a wrist, especially the left wrist, into this position, then cupping the left wrist into that position to give open club faces and closed club faces and mess around with loft. And I'm also going to try and do the same here. So first things first, I'm going to take exactly the same setup that I've just done, and on this first shot, as I take it back, I'm going to try and bow the wrist into this position. Now I know that this will close the club face. I know that I will have to return to impact like this to try and introduce a little bit of loft and to try and square the club face, but it should also give me a low skippy ball flight. And hopefully it won't be quite as extreme as that really strong grip shot that I just hit. So again, gives me that lower ball flight. Ooh. And it also allows me to control the spin a little bit more rather than just having the hands quite a long way ahead. Now on this last shot here, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to cup my wrist. These are both those shots, by the way, that last shot and this shot with a neutral grip. I'm going to cup my wrist going back, and I know again this is going to give me a little bit more loft, open the club face a little bit more. So I'm going to aim off to the right hand side, and that just flips the ball up nice and soft, and when it lands, it's going to have a decent amount of spin. Now you can see there, by changes to grip, by changes to wrist angles, I have drastically altered a lot of those shots. And that is just with the 56-degree wedge. So imagine taking those shots onto a lob wedge, onto a 9-9, onto a 7-9, whatever you want to. And just think about the amount of different ball flights that you can produce. So hopefully you found that interesting. Hopefully you've also found this little series on all the grip and wrist positions interesting as well. Please comment below, guys. We'd love to know what you think. Like the video, share it around. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. Follow me on all my other social media, which is linked in the description below. I will see you down here next time.